Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Hedonites of Slaanesh and the Pretenders subfaction. Now in this video we're going to go through the special rules that the Pretenders subfaction get for the Hedonites of Slaanesh before looking at a couple of units we recommend for this faction to get started with. We'll then look at some other unit options to bring in after those first couple of initial purchases, and then finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1,000 points for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Hedonites of Slaanesh army of the Pretenders. On a side note as well, the Slaanesh subfactions are incredibly deep in their lore. The Pretenders, their whole thing is they think they are going to be the new Slaanesh. Where you have the other different subfactions all have their each unique sort of little bit of lore, the Pretenders thing is, well, they're pretending to be Slaanesh. And this is represented by their heir to the throne rule, where if the model picked to be your general is a Pretender's hero, you receive 3 command points instead of 1 if they're on the battlefield at the start of the hero phase. So this does mean you equate to getting 4 if your general is on the table, because you would get your standard 1 plus 3, but it would always drop down to 1. So you wouldn't, have 4 then drop to 3, you would have 4 then drop to 1 because your general would be slain. Though this does mean heroic leadership would work on a 2+ if you only ever get that 1 command point. On top of this, you also have Warlord Supreme, where if the model picked to be your general is a Pretender's hero, then they can issue the same command up to 3 times in the same phase. If this model does this, each command must be received by a different friendly Pretender's unit, but no command points are spent the second and third times your general issues this command. So not only are you getting more command points for your general being on the battlefield, your general is getting more use out of every command point they spend. This is incredibly powerful and really works well with an army that has lots of units on the table. And so, where to get started with the Pretenders, but of course with a Keeper of Secrets. This army really does reward taking some of the big pieces that can do some decent damage, and the Keeper of Secrets is most certainly a model of such. You've got a few different options with your Keeper of Secrets. They'll come armed with their Elegant Great Blade, which will be 4 attacks, 3 threes, run 1 damage 2, and then you'll get one of the following, either the Living Whip, which will be a nice little 6-inch ranged attack, Ritual Knife, the Sinister Hand, or the Shining Aegis. The Shining Aegis is a particular favourite of mine, giving the model a 5-up ward save built in, which is pretty cool, though you will get some other options here for some of the other, attacks as well. Really, it's up to you on what you want to do with this and how you want to sort of build this model up. But looking alongside the Keeper of Secrets, I think a unit that is going to pair really well with this model is going to be Demonettes. Now, of course, we are looking to make the most use of getting those command points, so we're definitely going to want to look at maybe cheaper units that we can make overall better by using the various different and multitude of buffs that we can put on them, thanks to our general being a Pretenders model. Now, back onto that Keeper of Secrets. Dark Temptations is really fun. You can either gain some depravity or potentially do mortal wounds. You've got Cacophonic Choir as well, which is your own spell, and the Keeper of Secrets is a 2 unbind and 2 cast wizard. This will allow you to try and roll 2d6, and each time an enemy within range that has a bravery characteristic of less than the roll, they'll suffer d3 mortal wounds of a 6-inch range as well. Now, you've got those excessive violence rules as well, where you can get a friendly Slaanesh unit to fight again. This is particularly good when you're thinking you can stack multiple buffs on different units, so one of those units can have, all-out attack and attack twice, or even another buff available to them. If we're looking at where to go next, like I said, we want multiple units on the table, so I think looking at some of the cheaper options around that we have for Slaanesh is certainly a good place to go. The Infernal Raptress is one of our cheapest heroes at 120 points. She's got a cool ranged attack, so she does bring another little bit of ranged damage dealing with 6 attacks, 3s, 4s, range 1, damage 1, or choosing to go with a stronger 24-inch range, 1 attack, 2s, 2s, and minus 3 damage d3 attack. Now, the Piercing Claws as well will do a little bit of damage in combat, but her big thing is that she gets to effectively do some damage to enemy wizards that are trying to cast spells around her. Another one of the characters we can bring into the force is the Vice Leader. Vice Leaders are sort of our standard Demonette style hero. They're going to, just bring us a nice little cheap character, but they also have a cool rule where the Lust for Violence, if they fight, they can immediately bring in a little Demonette unit to fight as well. They've got a built-in 5-up ward as well, and they also have the Acquiescence spell, which is a casting value of 5, range of 18-inch, and you can add 1 to wound rolls for attacks that target an enemy unit that you've picked during that phase. The other units to look out for the demons are particularly their different chariot options. The secret chariot are the cheapest unit option we've got available to us at 110 points. Is going to bring, some extra units that we can start using some extra commands on, and we'll look at why we're sort of doing this at the next slide in the army list. But Seeker Chariots, they are going to be moving around the table, bringing us some nice, decent movement, along with the fact they can retreat and still charge. And then after they also finish the move from the charges, they can also deal some mortal wounds. The other version of the chariot that we're looking at is the Hellflare, the second cheapest version of our chariot. Their big thing is Soul Scent, where at the start of the combat phase you roll a dice for each enemy unit within 1 inch, and on a 4+, that unit will suffer D3 mortal wounds. And in addition, for each 4+, you add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons until the end of that phase. If the enemy unit has 10 or more models, both these effects are triggered on a 3+ instead. And so here we have our sample army list for the Pretenders host. Now, we obviously have just picked Gur for our sub-faction here, and then we've also gone the grand strategy, take what's theirs. We've got a couple of fast units in here. I think, we're generally be going to try and playing offensively, so I think this is the right sub-factions to sort of pick. Triumph, we're 10 points under the limit, so we have gone for an Inspired. Now, the Pretenders command trait we've gone for on our Keeper of Secrets, which will be our general, is called Strength of Godhood. This combines really well with a bunch of the other Seeker abilities, and what it does is if this general issues a command to a different friendly Hedonites of Slaanesh unit, till the end of the turn you improve the rend and damage of their melee weapons by 1. This is really cool as it can start to really rack up, and this is where I do think you have to make a choice. Do you want that Shining Aegis for the Fiber Ward, or do you go with another combat weapon? I'm not sure what I think my preference is on this. I think maybe Shining Aegis is probably my standard one, but I think maybe I am leaning to maybe going with another one of the combat options. Really, it's up to you. Maybe play a few games before sticking the arms and gluing them on your model. See what you like. Now, the artifact we've gone for is the Crown of Dark Secrets, where at the start of your first hero phase, you pick an enemy unit on the battlefield. For the rest of your battle, while that unit is within 6 inch of the bearer of this artifact, the attack characteristic of that unit's melee weapons is 1. This is really cool, can really nullify a ton of units, and especially good when you're sort of focusing your army around one massive heavy hitting piece, like the Keeper of Secrets we have here, to focus on picking, the enemy unit that potentially could take them off the table. Now, with this, we've also gone the universal spell on the model, Flaming Weapon, +1 damage on our attacks, and this, in combination with the Strength of Godhood, can really make our Keeper of Secrets do some heavy lifting. We then have Infernal and Rapturous, Herald of Slaanesh, who's got the aspect of the champion, stubborn as a Rhinox. Pretty cool, letting her count as 10 models. With that range, she can just, be a nice backfield objective seeker, or, move up and help contest the table if we need to. Battle line wise, we have 2 units of 10 Daemonettes, and then we have 2 Seeker Chariots in there as well for 990 points out of 1,000 spent, and a 1-drop force thanks to a battle regiment. If you've got some ideas for a Pretenders host, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fantastic little community here, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. If you would like to, you can do so either by YouTube members or Patreon, or by grabbing yourself some merch at Teespring or at our Ko-fi store. All of them are linked down in the video's description. As a special thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallers, Redman, Iron Grinch, Nicholas Colomos, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And to our YouTube members, Green Rich Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Baroque Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weird, James Tillman, Gargamel196, and Disco. Lastly, a special thanks first of all to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing art for the channel, everyone who helps come and provide the games for everyone to watch on the channel as well, and indeed all our fantastic mods and members of the community who keep our Discord and comment section a fantastic place for all to be. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.